Present.
Frank Reginelli,
Here.
Patrick Mahonik,
Here.
Timothy Lattimore,
Here.
Michael Didio,
Here.
Ryan Foley is excused, and Michael Chapman is excused.
We have the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of remembrance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We take a moment for Paul O'Connor Jr. Paul served as deputy sheriff for a couple of years, but he had a little farm out on Bluefield Road, and great lawyer. His dad was a good lawyer, and he was down in Connecticut for most of his time, but his sister was Francine Booley, and nice gentleman. Also, I'd like to remember September 11th. We lost a lot of people that day, and we had a nice ceremony at the city, so we'd like to keep those memories. Thank you. Now we have some proclamations. Sheila, would you?
Yep. Freedom from Workplace Bullies Week, October 18th to the 24th, 2015. That will be emailed out, so we were not reading that. And I'd like to call up Dave Gould for Sheriff's Week in Cayuga County. Whereas the Office of Sheriff has been an integral part of the criminal justice system in New York State and in Cayuga County throughout our history, having been established in the state's first constitution in 1777 and having been continued in every succeeding constitution and having been one of the original constitutional offices of our county. And whereas despite changes in its function, status, and powers during its long history, the Office of Sheriff has maintained a continuous existence preserved in its distinguishing heritage and continued to be an essential component of our criminal justice community. And whereas the Office of Sheriff has evolved into a modern, professional, full-service law enforcement agency manned by fully trained police officers using state-of-the-art technology and applying the latest and most advanced theories and practices in the criminal justice field. And whereas the Office of Sheriff is unique in the community and the duties of the office go far beyond the traditional role of keeper of the peace and extend into many facets of the public service, including maintaining the county jail, providing security in our courts and county office building, protecting our numerous waterways, and serving and executing civil process for our courts. And whereas as a constitutionally empowered entity directly responsible to the people, the ancient Office of Sheriff remains even today responsive and accountable to the public it serves. And whereas it is fitting to celebrate the historical contributions of the Office of Sheriff and the significant role in which the sheriff plays in our modern criminal justice system. Now therefore be it that I, Michael H. Chapman, Chairman of the Cayuga County Legislature, and fellow legislators, do hereby proclaim September 14th through the 20th, 2015 as Sheriff's Week in Cayuga County.
I'd just like to say that your department has come a long way, Sheriff, under your reign, and we do appreciate the professionalism that goes on in all the different services you render.
I just want to say a couple words. Thanks this body for all the support that you've given me since I've been here, and certainly the deputies. It's very appreciative. I hope you continue to do that. I started in the state police 46 years ago. Very seldom did we have a police officer get shot at, and certainly killed. We all know the day we're living in, and it's very dangerous out there. I've certainly sent memos to my guys, and you know, it's so disappointing nowadays that the respect is not there for police officers. I know there is in this room naturally, but that's not out there like it used to be, and I just wish it would come back. It's so dangerous for our guys. The respect is it's limited. I think it's a quiet majority that does have the respect, but there's a lot of bad guys out there, and we have to protect them. And this body has always given me that leeway to protect our deputies, and I hope they always will. But please consider, when you see a deputy, it's like a military person. When you see a deputy, police officer, state police, PD, whatever it may be, please walk up and thank them for their service, because they deserve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next, we have National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and we have Mr. Sales.
Yep. Whereas workplace welcoming of the talents of all people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community and strong economy. Whereas in this spirit, Cayuga County is recognizing National Disability Employment Awareness Month this October to raise awareness about disability, employment issues, and celebrate the many and varied contributions of people with disabilities. And whereas activities during this month will reinforce the value and talent people with disabilities add to our workplaces and communities, and affirm Cayuga County's commitment to this inclusive community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Michael H. Chapman, and fellow legislators do hereby proclaim October 2015 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. In so doing, I call upon employers, schools, and other community organizations in Cayuga County to observe this month with appropriate programs and activities, and to advance its important message that people with disabilities are equal to the task throughout the year, and commend Seneca Cayuga ARC for their efforts in this regard. Congratulations, Ed.
Thank you very much for this proclamation, and I know you have a lot to do tonight, but just a few things. As I think many of you know, it was my good fortune to begin helping out at Seneca Cayuga ARC just about a year ago, and I just want to leave you with 4 takeaways. An amazing organization, very dedicated people. They serve 1,100 individuals with developmental and other intellectual disabilities. They employ 600 citizens in Seneca and Cayuga County. They put into the local economy every year over $20 million. We have very dedicated, loyal, and dependable workers who are working at many businesses in many locations throughout the 2-county area. If you're looking for great people, we've got them. And just one final fact, which really kind of blew my mind, and I'd be happy to take anybody on a tour. Some of our workers are employed at our woolen textile mill, where each year, and I'm not exaggerating, we produce almost 300,000 articles of headwear which are purchased by the United States Armed Forces. And they are all made with 100% American wool at an actual knit factory operating in central New York. I think that's something. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed, for all your service. I would like to introduce somebody who's new to the Ledge. She's a new reporter, and Gwen Craig. Good to see you, Gwen. Hopefully you get all the great stories out of this body. So
Thank you.
it's good to see you. Where are you from, Gwen?
I just came from D.C., but I'm from Connecticut originally.
Oh, good to
I
see you.
went to SU, so.
Oh, an SU journalist. All right.
I'm familiar with it.
Well, it's nice to have you on board, and hopefully things will go good.
Yep, thank you very much.
We have now the public to be heard. I see Kevin Jones is here, and I think he's in my district, and he wanted to speak about some very important issues. Just come over here, Kevin. And
Hi, my name's Kevin Jones, and my stepdaughter, Jessica Nicole Gentile, died of a heroin overdose on May 8, 2013. She had every reason to live. She was gorgeous. She just graduated from Cortland University, magna cum laude. She was a fantastic personality, great to be around, and a joy to the world. But somehow she started going through depression, and she unbeknownst to us, she picked up and started using heroin. We brought her in for some treatment, and the insurance companies told us that she doesn't really need any treatment. You know, she could just take care of this on her own. And if we wanted to pay $70 a day, 3 times a week to get her a treatment, we could go ahead and do that. And I actually offered to do that, but she wouldn't allow me to do that. And she died probably about 3 weeks after that. And so I spoke at the task force that came through here in Auburn it was May 8th, it was on the anniversary of Jessica's death a year ago. And they asked us what was going on, you know, what we needed to do to fix this so that we don't have so many heroin addicts. There's an absolute epidemic. And to be honest with you, nothing has changed. Very, very little has changed since then. Since that task force came through here, there's been not one new rehab brought into anywhere in central New York. There's not one new crisis center, and detox is actually harder to get now than it was at that time. And it's just absolutely, you know, it's a disgrace because like these people are dying, our kids are dying out there. And it's not just my kids, it's everybody's kids, you know, because it affects every level of society right now at this point. And you don't know when it's going to happen, you know. You just don't know what's going to happen. And for us to allow this to happen, and I know that there's been some progress, you know, the parity law was a good thing, and they're talking about doing Suboxone. They just passed the Suboxone program. President Obama was talking about that too. So instead of building rehabs, they're gonna say that a doctor that's treating 50 patients with no treatment whatsoever can now treat 100 patients with no treatment whatsoever. They obviously don't understand drugs. They don't understand that if you give drugs to an addict, they're gonna abuse them. And I know one girl that was up there, she'd get on the bus and she would drive to Syracuse, take her 2 little kids, go over to Syracuse, get her methadone fix, get off the bus. That was a whole day process, and there was no treatment involved with that whatsoever. She was being set up to fail. And that's what the whole system right now that we have is set up to fail. And I don't know, you know, I've talked to every congressman in this area. I've talked to, you know, I've gone as far as I possibly can. Maybe you guys can come up with something. And thanks for listening to me. Thank you.
I mean, I can't comment to the public be heard, but the sheriff did mention the other day when we were out that we've had 16 heroin deaths in this county alone, which is out surpassing Onondaga County, which we always think of a little more problems in Onondaga than Cayuga. But isn't there a meeting at CC's tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night, 8:30.
8:30?
Yep.
To try to get the public more involved in
We're
this?
going to have a community action group, and we're going to start trying to develop plans so that we can do better things.
So CC's down by Elko,
Yep, 6:30.
6:30,
Or 6
So-
o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, anybody else, public be heard? If not, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move the reading of the minutes. Motion to move the reading of the minutes.
Second by Mr. Pinckney. All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. We have a report by our good doctor from, this is your second report?
Yeah, I feel like I've been at it for quite a while, Brett. Month 2, I don't have to count the days or the weeks as I did last time I was here. Just in brief, I know that there was a brief written report that was provided. You know, this time of year is very busy at the college. Obviously, it's the start of a new academic year. It also is our year-end close financially as we end in August. And although we're continuing to work through that, it looks as though the college will end the fiscal year in a very strong financial position moving forward, which is which is just a testament to the tremendous work and effort that those before me have gone through to get to that point, and as we'll continue to be financially responsible and focusing on our initiatives for the future and strategies to continue to strengthen our position as a college in the community. Enrollment, although looks to be slightly down this year, we're very, it's across the state, but we feel very confident in this, in that it's not going to impact our services nor our educational opportunities for our students to serve them this year in any way, shape, or form. And again, from a financial perspective, we're on top of it, working with our trustees, and certainly legislator and trustee Runkle, who's with us tonight, is working a great deal on those efforts. From a priorities, really what much like I talked about last month of getting to know people and learning about the college from their perspective, I've continued that effort since I believe last time I was here was about day 6, and it continues to affirm really the passion and how proud people are of the community college, which I'm not telling you anything new, but it really is refreshing to me. Everywhere I go, I met tonight another proud alum, and that really just talked about how the college really touched them as part of their educational journey. As we move forward in the coming weeks, I'll be working with our board to outline this year's priorities based on the conversation, dialogue, and assessment of the current state of the college, that will really be able to lay out publicly what I believe are our priorities to continue to build upon that reputation for the future. And all I can say with that is that there's been a great deal of work done in conversation when it relates to new academic programs, partnerships with K-12, possible student housing, and other opportunities that really, I think, set the stage well for us for the future. So I know in your packet tonight, one of the items in front of the legislature is to support a resolution in accepting a land donation on behalf of the college or for the county, and I just would appreciate and ask for your support for that resolution. It continues to help strengthen our footprint to give us lots of possibilities for our future. So I thank you for your support and appreciate the time tonight.
Any questions for the good doctor? Okay, doctor, I think
I
you,
have one.
Mr. Didio.
Yes, are we any closer to student housing?
Well, here's what I'll say about student housing. A great deal of effort's been done. Last year, a study has been done to look at the need and the capacity. Came back to demonstrate that there is that need. In the coming weeks, I'm going to look certainly student housing will be one of my goals this year to go. The next step in my mind is to do a full evaluation of the services in place at the college to support a 24/7 learner. We need to be able to make sure that, if we have student housing, that if people are choosing to live on campus, that we have the learning environment and social environment that will be healthy for them to be successful. And I believe we are well equipped to do that, but it deserves its evaluation. And then we'll progress forward with our trustees to look at what time is the right decision to move to the next steps. But I think all indications thus far say it could be a very favorable project for the college. It seems to be one that, as I've met with different people, has a variety of support. We just need to make sure we go about it the right way to have a successful project.
Doc, I have one question.
Yeah.
I attended your last board meeting,
Yeah.
and as a member of the government ops, we're invited every month. I think that I just asked to speak for a moment there, and some of the board members were taken back. I think that elected officials, or public officials, should be recognized when they're participating in the meeting.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's parliamentary procedure, but we've always given the courtesy of an elected official. If they come here, they can speak to whatever subject they want to speak to. I appreciate that. And being an alumni of the college, I should have been automatically listed. There was 3 mayors in the room, too.
Yeah, well, we appreciated your comments, and, it always is about the right, it's like you're running here today, the procedure of it all, but, you were allowed to participate and add a good perspective, and hopefully we answered your questions and we can move on. So thank you for attending.
Thank you.
All right? Appreciate it all. Thank you, everyone.
Committee reports, individual legislative reports. Mr. Didio, would you like to speak on the subject?
I have a few. Don't worry. I'll begin with the Intercounty of Western New York. The Intercounty Association of Western New York has been growing for Cayuga County in the last 4 years. I just want to point out that this month's meeting is up in Lake Placid for the New York State Association of Counties. They're holding their conference. Therefore, there will be no report on a specific meeting. They have a resolution meeting that is held during the 3-day period of the conference. But I'll have some, the next month's meeting will be in Wayne County, and I'm sure to be here to report on it. I want to point out the Alcohol and Substance Abuse Subcommittee. Everything that Mr. Jones has presented tonight certainly is right on top of the table. I don't have any quick answers for him, but we do more than talk. We have to continue that talk to move forward. And where we're going, we're hoping that that might be in the best interest of all the families, all the kids in this area and beyond. So certainly, it would be in the best interest of people here maybe to attend tomorrow night at 6 o'clock down to CC's and see what's going on, see if we can be of some service. Because I'm just like you, and I fortunately for me, but unfortunate, I have not had any loss such as yours. The idea here is that I've been involved with mental health, mentally ill chemical abusers for over 30 years, and there's not a whole lot of change. Certainly if we had more people like Ray Bazzari, then there'd be some changes. And I'm going to follow Mr. Bazzari's lead and continue to report on what our big topic at the monthly heroin, and you've been to a couple of meetings. The big topic is the heroin and treatment, Suboxone and other issues that are up on the table. We hope to at least help in that area. And there's certainly going to be more reporting on it. So I'll see you tomorrow night, Mr. Jones, and I hope to see some other people. The one important, I have a few other committees that we don't have much to report on, but I do have a piece from our inspection committee. People that are informed about the algae and blue-green algae in Owasco Lake and Lake Como. Let me say that some of it has been found to be toxic, and we do have the DEC that are coming right out as soon as we call to test that. We just can't get the answers right away that we need. A big point is that if you check your water and sewer bill for this month, you might see something in the right-hand corner. Here's a sample of the bill, your bill. This is what you receive. In the right-hand corner, you're going to see your bill includes a watershed inspection fee. Listen to this, 0.063% of water used. Don't be alarmed, because that total figure for a year will cost you $2.52. And that's going in to help. What we need is help on that lake. And with that, Mr. Lattimore, I'm complete.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Yes, Terry?
I don't have a report, Mr. Chairman. I had a question for Mike. The guy that spoke up here, Mr. Jones, mentioned 8:30 at CC's. You mentioned 6 o'clock.
6 to 8:30, correct?
It's 6 o'clock to 7.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks for that clarification. Legislator. The chairman's report, our city administrator's not here. They're at the conference up at Lake Placid. Is there anybody else that wanted the report for the city? Okay. The chairman's report, I did email you I mean, we had a moment of silence for the 9/11, but I mean, one company that stands out with One World Trade Center Spire is Blair Construction, and they're on North Street, and they built that tower that they're bringing up to 1776 in elevation, which is, I think the city should be very proud of that company, and I think the Pope is going to go visit there tomorrow, so hopefully a little bit of Auburn is at the top of that building. Also, I sent around, Will Barkley had a little article on the nuclear power critical. To the north of us, we do have some plants that are being considered to be taken offline, and I know the governor has taken Indian Point down by the city, which produces about 25% of the New York City's power. It's clean power. It's probably the best power that can be produced for the environment. You know, the governor has this microgrids and other things that he wants to do for the power, solar and wind and everything else to try to use some of that capacity up. But we should keep an eye on that. It's critical to everybody to have clean, cheap power. So hopefully we can do that. Anything else to report? Appointments and reappointments?
Oh, we don't have any.
I just want to mention that we do have Peter Stevens and Mr. Sherman in the audience from Civil Service. Good to see you gentlemen here tonight. Just want to recognize the good work that you do. Communications and announcements. I know that Mr. Didio, did you want to say something?
Mr. Chairman, I will move to waive the reading.
I know that next month, Nancy Rose DeLorenzo is going to turn 100, and hopefully we can have a proclamation for her. As Hillary Clinton said, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. She raised not only her own, but there was a bunch of other people at the house for spaghetti dinners all the time, so.
All right, we already have it in the works.
Good.
That
I just want to give a
proclamation.
pre-shout out to Ms. DeLorenzo.
We need a second for waiving of the.
Oh, you want a second by Hans? All those in favor of waiving the minutes?
Aye.
So be it. All right. Ways and Means?
Mr. Chairman, Ways and Means presents our two regular monthly resolutions which authorize the county to pay our bills from August 11th through September 8th. These have been through committee and approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Ways and Means has two resolutions that have come up since the Ways and Means Committee, so I will go through each one of them. WM1 is authorizing the county attorney to commence an action against the town of Troop and various town officials and employees to seek compliance with the New York Civil Service laws, rules, and regulations. I present this in the form of a motion. Second. We'll need a second.
Second? Second by Tucker. Whitman? Any discussion? Fred, did you want to say anything in regards to this action?
Just wanted to add that, just briefly, Mike Russell has been talking to us about this for several months. We're now at the stage to move forward. Assuming it passes this evening, I will have papers on the chairman's desk and the commissioner's desk probably by the end of the week. So unless there are any other questions, I'm all set. Thank you.
Everybody got the information they need? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
WM2 is authorizing the creation of a temporary leave bank for Cayuga County Office of Real Property, an employee at the Real Property Services Department there. I'll present that in the form of a motion.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Baxter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Health and Human Services, Mr. Mahonik.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 resolutions. HH3 and HH10 were pulled at committee, so I would offer HH1 and 2, HH4 through 9 as a bundle, unless anybody would like any separated.
Anybody desiring to have anything pulled from the bundle? If not, I'll accept a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
Government Operations, Mr. Didio?
Yes, Government Operations has 3 resolutions, all been through committee. I'll offer 1 and 2 as a bundle, and pull GO3 out.
Okay, we have 1 and 2. Do we have a motion to accept? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, so carried. Okay, we have GO3, which takes a 2/3 majority vote.
Yes.
I think it's a great thing that the Bomases are giving this land to our college, so. Mr. Bennett?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go on record as abstaining on this one, please.
Yes, sir. So noted. All those in favor of accepting, authorizing county to accept this land?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have a roll call.
Let's have a roll call just so that we have the weighted 2/3 vote.
Yelling ready.
Let's go.
Tucker Whitman,
Yes.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Mark Farrell,
Yes.
Paul Pickney,
Yes.
Joseph Runkel,
Yes.
Keith Batman is excused, Hans Petcher,
No.
Terry Baxter,
Aye.
Joseph Bennett,
Abstain.
thank you, Frank Reginelli,
Yes.
Patrick Mahonik,
Yes.
Tim Lattimore,
Yes.
Michael Didio,
Yes.
Ryan Foley is excused, Michael Chapman is excused.
Defeated.
Defeated.
One vote defeats it?
Two-thirds.
Is our math correct? Mr. Runkel, did you want to do the math on
I
that?
guess a point of clarification from Fred, is it 2/3 of the attending members of the ledge, or 2/3 of the total number?
Unfortunately, your rules say it's 2/3 of all the members.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons I requested a roll call vote.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Petcher?
I'd like to change my vote to yes.
Mr. Petcher would like to have another vote on this. I think that's, can we bring it back, Fred? What's
Just change.
what's the parliamentary procedure on the,
You just need to change his vote on the roll call.
okay,
So
There you go,
it's
so it passed.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
The reason I voted against it, I see it as an expansion of government, and I don't think we need that, but if it's a gift, we should take it.
We appreciate your making that motion, Hans. It's a fine institution, and I hope to see it grow a little bit. Hopefully, we can bring these kids home after they're educated with some jobs. But anyways, next we have planning. I
Mr.
think
Chairman,
planning has-
planning
Go ahead.
has one resolution, has been through both committees and seeks your approval.
Any questions on the resolution? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
Public Works, Mr. Whitman.
Public Works has 9 resolutions. I'd like to bundle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, unless anyone would like any of those singled out.
Any motion to take any out? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any, Mr.
Mr.
Pickney?
Chairman, I'd like to table Public Works 1.
Public Works 1.
If I might, I believe what's on the floor right now is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Right.
And I think that you need a vote first, and then I think your motion may be in order.
I thought we did.
Did we already do that? I apologize, sorry.
Sometimes it gets confusing with all the motions.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Baxter seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, so carried.
Mr. Chairman, I have PW 9. It requires a 2/3 vote.
Okay. Does everybody get that? I had a brief discussion with Fred, and I believe in the licensing agreement that we have, there is a time frame in which we get the property back if right now we're turning it over to the Emerson Foundation so that they can do upgrades to the building. We did this once before.
Yes, and the previous license agreement indicated that the property would be returned to the county upon completion of construction.
In the future, I'd like to see, make sure that we have a time limit so that we do get the property back and that you've taken care of that in the licensing.
Yes, very good, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Didio?
Mr. Westfall, is there a price on this that goes against the county?
No, the Emerson Foundation has agreed to pay all the costs associated with the work.
All right,
So
thank
there
you.
will be no cost to the county.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Since we have to have a 2/3, did you want to?
Well, I think everybody was in favor, and I noticed there are 3 absences, so that would not cause any objection.
In the future, I think that we might want to look at that question in regards to who's present, 2/3, so that we can do business when people are away. I mean, it seems like the body on the last roll call, one vote outvoted everybody, so hopefully we can look at that parliamentary procedure. Okay, so that passes. Public safety, Mr. Baxter?
Mr. Chairman, judicial has 3 resolutions. They passed committee, passed ways and means. I would offer them as a bundle unless there's an objection.
Anybody object? Mr. Vitale?
I'd like to exclude JP3.
JP3, okay, we'll take that
I
into
would then offer
consideration.
JP 1 and 2 as a bundle.
All those in favor of JP 1 and 2?
Aye.
Any opposed to JP 1 and 2? If not, all so carried. Let's talk about JP 3. Mr. Mahonik?
Just a question, as we go into our budget process, is this something that we can put off for a month? I guess I'm looking to the sheriff to see what the time frame is on this, just so we can wrap our heads a little bit more around the budget, before we start backfilling deputy positions. Is there a reason this has to be done tonight instead of next month or okay?
Well, as everybody in this committee knows, that last year, there was a position taken away from the sheriff's department. We are down to bare minimum right now. We have 4 on extended sick leave. We're having 2 leave for the troopers next month. And that'll bring us down to 2, 3 maximum on the shift. We need to start replacing our people. If we make a detective to make a detective lieutenant, we make a road patrol to fill that detective slot, then we need to try to get a new recruit in as soon as we can. We have one that wants to transfer in from Portland County, and if this is passed, we can bring him on very quickly. So that's the reason I'm saying.
And that would save us from training this particular young man? He's ready to go. That's pretty
So
good.
there's no academy timeline, he can go right into
No,
that.
we just had an academy start 2 weeks ago, and they have an academy very seldom, once a year at the most. So if we don't get this transfer in, this position will be open for a whole year. But we're hoping to get this transfer in. There's a subject, a person that really wants to transfer back to our county, who lives in our county. And he could fill that slot immediately if this is approved.
Is everybody satisfied? Mr. Vitale?
So if the transfer doesn't happen, then couldn't fill it until the next academy, correct?
We could not, that's very true. If there's not another transfer coming in, right? We'd have to wait for the next academy, which is they're usually in the spring. There wasn't one this time. There was one that started at the beginning of September.
Thank you.
Patrick?
Just so I'm clear on what we're saying here, If we get a transfer in, there's no academy issue, there's no cost there, and they go right to work for us.
Well, they'll ride with a deputy
Yeah, but-
for probably a period of a month.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no transfer charge, fee for academy, nothing that'll cost the county any money. And it'll save the county $6,000 because the person that's being promoted up is a $6,000 difference.
And then if we don't get a transfer, there's nobody we can put in that spot until they go to the academy eventually anyway, so it would be
That's
open
true.
until, okay.
That's true.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bennett?
Now, Sheriff, you said you're gonna take one road deputy and up him up to a detective.
Yes, sir.
Why can you wait to move him up until the other two people are out of the academy, so we don't lose a road dep? I would much rather have a road dep than a detective right about now. Seeing you're saying we're down road deps.
We are. But Joe, if we don't get a transfer, in which I'm very positive we will, the trouble is, these guys are in the academy for 4 to 5 months, and then they have to have an FTO for another 3 months. So we're talking almost another year before we can even put somebody on the road if this person doesn't transfer.
Right, exactly, but you're still talking about, if this gentleman, officer transfers in, you're gonna take a road dep and move him up to a detective, correct?
Which we need. We need our detective slots filled. They're very busy. Really are very.
But I would think you would much rather have an extra dep on a road dep than an extra detective right about now, seeing you're saying you're down
We are.
4 people.
But we've talked about this for months, my staff and I. We need to fill that detective position. We really do. It's part of the progression. We just need to fill it.
Mr. Baxter?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think it's actually the job of this group of people to try to run the department for the sheriff. He's made his needs known. I believe they're very valid, and I will then call the question.
Question's been called. Do we have a second, or? All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed? So passed. Now, Ledge 1, we're gonna need a 2/3 vote if somebody brings up. Mr. Farrell,
Chairman, I'd like to reintroduce Ledge 1.
reintroduced, seconded by Mr. Bennett. Yes, Mr. Farrell.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reiterate what I stated in committee. Ledge 1 is calling for the day of a public hearing. I think the opportunity for the public to come to these chambers and express their views on the tax levy cap, we should all welcome that opportunity. If there are folks here that are against raising the tax cap, they'll have an opportunity to vote against the resolution. They'll also have an opportunity to vote against the budget if it includes a tax cap that they don't agree with. So I would like to present it, and I'd like to support it to have it move forward.
Mr. Bennett, or Mr. Baxter?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we table Ledge 1 until
Second.
October. The time frame would still allow us to complete this if we so chose. I have some concern with the missing legislators that it would not be a very valid vote at this time.
That's a good point, Mr. Baxter, in regards to missing people. We just witnessed a vote that, a gift of land that, we couldn't get past, thanks to Hans it did, which was very nice.
Who seconded that?
Mr. Didio is gonna second tabling, or do we need a motion on the first?
No, there's a second on the table, so the first vote would be on table, and then it'll either
Okay.
pass or fail.
Mr. Mahonik?
I would just like to reiterate Mr. Farrell's point that this does nothing more than give people the opportunity to come to speak to us about their agreement or disagreement, going over the tax cap. I don't think this body does any favors to anybody if we say the public shouldn't come and talk to us. Pushing it off another month does nothing more than just kick the can down the road. I would like to get the opinion of the public sooner rather than later, because we are gonna have to make some tough decisions come November and December, so I say I would not support tabling this at this time.
Mr. Petcher?
Mr. Chairman, there's nothing to stop the public from coming to any meeting and expressing their opinions.
Good point, Mr. Petcher. One thing I would like to point out is that right now, I believe that we have a surplus of 19 million, maybe. Mr. Runkle, would you indicate as to what our surplus is?
No, it's in that area, correct.
And, I mean, I've sat on other boards where, 5% of our budget, so, or 10% of the budget, I think we're over our 10%.
Correct. The range that the
State gives
legislature
us.
wants to have our fund balance or savings account set at is in the area of 10 to 15%.
So if we had to use some of that fund balance, which is the taxpayers' money, we're getting a lot of bad news lately. 84 Lumber closed, Walgreens closed, Dakin McQuay is closing. I just can't see us raising taxes in this timeframe. Mr. Mahonik?
Mr. Lattimore, I think that's precisely why this should go forward, so we can have that discussion with public input, because those are all points that I'm sure the public will bring to our attention, and allow us to have quality dialogue around this and enough time to digest the information and make a good decision if this is a viable option. This, again, does not say we are gonna exceed the tax cap, it just says we're gonna talk about it.
Well, I appreciate your, the wisdom of the public is always the best, but they do elect us to run this organization, and I think that we have enough knowledge on this board to say that we're holding too much of the taxpayers' money, and I think that it's, the environment right now is we should hold to the cap, but I'm just one vote on this board, but any other conversation? Mr. Baxter.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say I wasn't trying to kick the can down the road. I was trying to give the resolution the best chance of opportunity to pass. I personally supported the resolution and still do. Thank you.
Well, I concur with Mr. Baxter in regards to the chairman being out. I think he's in favor of it, and Mr. Foley, who's not here tonight, is in favor of it. So if we voted tonight, there's definitely, I don't think the votes, and I'd like to have the full ledge. If the public is to be heard, our legislature should be heard, and it should be heard in the full body instead of a partial body. Mr. Vitale.
I don't think anybody here should be speaking for another legislator, so I'd just like to call the question.
Good point.
Mr. Farrell.
Roll call vote on the table, please.
Simple majority.
Simple majority on
Motion
this?
to table, yeah.
On the motion to table.
Table. Okay.
Simple majority.
Okay, this is to table ledge 1. How's that? Tucker Whitman,
Yes.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Mark Farrell,
No.
Paul Pinkney,
Yes.
Joseph Runkle,
Yes.
Keith Batman is excused, Hans Petcher,
Yes.
Terry Baxter,
Yes.
Joseph Bennett,
No.
Frank Reginelli,
No.
Patrick Mahonik,
Nope.
Timothy Lattimore,
I will be voting yes to table. I will be voting no to go above the cap whenever it comes up.
Michael Didio,
Yes.
Ryan Foley is excused, Michael Chapman is excused.
Pass.
It passed.
So it's going to be tabled till next month? Look forward to any public input on this important matter. Any other business to come before the board?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion, seconded by Mr. Pinckney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. This is probably my first and only chairman position.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
I think that's actually.
We're proud of you.
No, I know.